Hello everyone, Teresa here, Teresa's Crafty Cabana. Today I am working with my 9x12 gel plate. This is a gel press gel plate from Joggles, and this one was gifted to me by my sweet friend Kim. So thank you, Kim. I love the big gel plate because I can use my 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper and I will get an entirely full print. So that's why I wanted to use that size. I am going to be using some stencils. These are from the Journal Say box that I got. And if you missed that video, I'll link it. I got this really awesome looking box from them with lots of fun supplies for journaling mostly. But I did get some stencils that I'll be playing with today that I haven't had a chance to use yet. I also, if you are interested in getting anything from Journal Say, I do have a link, an affiliate link, but I also have a coupon code and I will post that in the description. Today we're going to be working with bubbles. I haven't worked with bubbles in a little bit, so I just have this cleaned out to-go container, and I put some Dawn dish soap in and some water and just shook it around until I got a nice amount of bubbles like this. So I'm just going to set that aside for now. I'll be picking 3 colors to start. This is my Mort Violet, and I'm just putting them right over the stencil. This is a Cobalt Blue, and I got a like a Sky Blue. So for bubbles, you want a fairly thin coat. If it's too thick, at least in my experience, I haven't had the best results. So I am going fairly thin. And I'm just gonna remove this. I was debating if I would keep this on or remove it. So to apply the bubbles, I like to use an old gift card, in this case Chick-fil-A. And then I can just take my bubbles and start pouncing them. And you want a pretty decent amount. So those bubbles are just going to start kind of like, I don't know, flattening. But as they do, they create that texture. This is pretty cool where the blue creates like an outline here. Now, I tried to avoid the water. I'm trying just to get the bubbles. And you do have to work fairly quickly, because once that paint dries, then it won't create that texture anymore. And since it's thin paint, it will dry faster. So it's good to try to have enough bubbles ready to go for your print. Okay, I think that's pretty good. It doesn't have to be every single spot. So I will let this dry. You know how I like to let it dry is with, because it takes a long time. So I will put a fan on low. And you can see it already starts kind of like popping those bubbles, which is what I want. It just speeds up the process. I don't want to have it very high because I don't want those bubbles to blow everywhere, but low setting gets those bubbles to pop. And once they're all popped, then I will put on a higher setting and then they'll pop a lot faster, or it'll dry a lot faster. All right, so this is mostly dry. There are some spots, I think like this one that's a little stubborn. So I just use a piece of paper to get rid of any stubborn spots that are just taking way too long to dry. I think the rest of these are good. So I'm going to use this bright gold. How I want to add this, thinking I will just add it right over the same stencil, and I'm just going to offset it. Have to be careful because I don't want to start removing that texture. So I will remove the stencil now and let this layer dry. Okay, up next I'm going to mix some color. So I've got my white, and this is just on a second gel plate, smaller gel plate. I've got some magenta, and some orange, cadmium orange. Start brayering it on my smaller plate, and then I can bring it over. Trying to decide how I want to do this. I think I'll do it this way. Is my Nina White cardstock, 110 pound. I am missing some paint right here. A tissue paper. And then we're just going to let that dry. Okay, I've left this to dry for about 10 minutes. All right, that looks really cool. Up at the top, I'll probably just kind of get rid of that extra, but I do love that the whole paper gets printed. This is a little bit of leftover from my last print on this gel plate, but you can really see in the light with that gold. And then if I hold it up closer, all of the little bubbles. I just think these colors look so nice together, especially here with this blue and orange combination. So pretty. All right, so let's make another print. I'm going to use a different stencil this time. Okay, for this next one, I'm using this, kind of looks like waves. So very ocean theme again. I'm going to use a teal. This is from my golden fluid. I'll also use the sky blue. And the cobalt blue. Okay, and then same thing, I'll just remove this. And we're going to add some bubbles right over the top. I like these ocean themed stencils to try this bubble technique with. Just a little bit more, and then I'm going to let this dry. I'll do the same thing where I use my little fan until this gets dry. Okay, for the shine on this one, I'm going to use my Pearl Violet. This is by Amsterdam. I don't want to do too much because I can already see some of it starting to come up on my brayer. I do want a little texture though. So I've got I think this is called Tiny Bubbles embossed piece of cardstock. Just to continue with the little bubble theme. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to lay this down again, offset, and this time I'm going to use some of my diazepine purple. But I also want some white. Okay, and again, I don't want to overwork it. I'll just remove that. And I'm gonna let this layer dry. But before it's completely dry here, I'll just add in a little more texture. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. All right, this time around, I will use this stencil right over my print. This one's more like coral. And I was thinking it would be cool to have a bright pop of that pink, like I did on the last one, but just over that coral design. I'm mixing white with my 3 colors, and I'll make them an ombre. And I think I'll do it the same way this way. Just remove that stencil and I will let this layer dry. Okay, to pull this print, we're going to use this silver. I do use quite a bit. It takes a lot of paint to pull a big print like this with all of these layers. And then I'm just going to use my tissue paper again to press it down really well. And then I will leave this to dry. Ooh, I can already see I didn't have enough paint. What I will do is let this dry. Right here, there is enough paint. So I'm gonna leave a heavy book on here, let it dry, and then I'm gonna put a little more paint and pull it again. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes, and I'm gonna see. So I already knew I was gonna have trouble over here. I've got some trouble over here also. And what I'm gonna do is just fold this back, add some more of my silver, more this time. Now I want to be careful because this, don't want to ruin all of that. What I'm going to do to get rid of some of this, especially where I have my print already nice, just going to use my tissue paper to remove parts of this. Then it gives it a little more texture. Okay, and then I'll push that down. Okay, it's been drying for 10 minutes. And it's okay. I'm not as pleased with this. I feel like the silver actually takes away. I didn't remove enough of the silver. And thinking about it, I really should have gone in with my clear gesso. So that is a lesson learned. But what I think I'll do to try this again, I think I'll do the orange and the pink in the foreground and do its own print like that. Let's try it. Alright, so what I actually want to try to do is salvage this print. What I really feel like is missing is that blue layer. So I'm just going to recreate it and print on top. But I do want the bubbles still, so I will, because I do have to let those bubbles dry. So I'm going to just create this part, add my bubbles, and then once it gets dried, just looking at my print here to see what colors I added. So I think I just did the blue, the 3 blues, the teal, the sky blue. I'm adding white this time as well, and the cobalt. I'm going to keep the stencil on this time. I'm going to try that with the bubbles. So I'll leave that and I'll come back once we're ready to remove the stencil. It's not perfectly dry, but it is close. I think it's good to remove the stencil now. And then I'm just going to let these few little places dry all the way now. I'm going to use this holographic glitter. And this is in the Divine Purple. I've learned I need to use a lot on this gel plate. Okay, and I don't really know if I can line this up, so I'm just gonna place it down. Use my tissue paper. And just press it down really well. And I'll let that dry for quite a while, probably 20 minutes. Okay, let's see how this looks. I definitely let it dry long enough, so I'm happy about that. And I do at least like that I can see my print now. So that you can see a lot of that silver, just a touch of that pink and yellow. And I think this will make a much nicer background for what I would be working with. I do like how you can see some of this purple behind here. So I'm happy with that. Now I do want to do another jelly print with my coral. I do love those kind of warm colors popped against the cooler blue colors. So I will take my cobalt, get some ink or paint all around the design. I need a little bit more. This is a big plate and a lot of area to fill. That's better. And I want like an outline of this print. And I'm just gonna layer that right on top. Just want to remove the paint in between this stencil. And the nice thing about the tissue paper is that you can see where you need to press more. And that's one pass. And what I'm going to do is take another piece of tissue paper and just finish the pass. Just to get rid of a little bit more. That's nice. And that removes a lot of the paint, but you know, there's still a little bit left behind, which I'm fine with. This gives me a really fun texture. Okay, I've reapplied my stencil. And I'm going to use this sponge to sponge my color on the gel plate. Alright, I've got some phthalo blue green shade and my phthalo turquoise. and a little bit of zinc white. Okay, that's been sitting about 30 minutes this time. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. So it does have a very underwater feel to it. It's a very turquoise at the top, cobalt or phthalo blue at the bottom, and then the pops of the thicker paint. Now, what I find interesting is that the paint color isn't vibrant like it is here. Up here, oh, I know why. I used dioxazine purple, which is a transparent color, but I still think that one looks really cool. Okay, I'm going to try something. Hopefully I don't mess this up. I am laying my piece of paper back down. I put my stencil over it. And I'm just laying my gel print over the stencil. I did offset it a little bit. Then I'm going to flip it over. So now I know where to put my paper because I just put it where it was. And for my stencil, I'm going to use some gold. So then I can remove this. And while that paint is still wet, I will line my print up with where I had it before. Press that in nice. And remember, I'm only trying to get the stencil part, so I don't have to worry about the edges. Okay, so then I'll let that dry and see if that worked out. Okay, it's time to see if this worked. Oh, wow. Okay, that turned out way better than I thought it would. Oh my goodness. Okay, I love that. I no longer feel like it gets lost in the background. I feel like it has a little bit of dimension because I offset it. Wow, that looks so cool, and it looks really neat because it's gold on a dark background. Okay, I love it. I'm going to add this purple to one of my prints. I did that same technique. I just wanted the outline. And the print I'm going to layer it on is this one. yeah, that looks cool. Okay, I love this print now. That is so much better. And now has definition. You can see this area especially. I'm going to do this for my first print as well. One more print I want to try. This is just a technique I saw on Gelli Art's page. I think Bridget is her name. If I find the video, I'll link it. But I happen to have the supply she used, and so I thought I would try a print the way she did it. She used this baby powder. Well, not this one, but she used baby powder on her gel plate. Now, I don't know how messy this is. This is my first time trying it, but I thought I would do it and see if I like it. First, she recommends pulling a print. So just put some color down. I think I will do just some purples now. Maybe a little bit of my magenta. Oh, I did the magenta, the mort, and which one? This one. The prism violet. And this is my transparent paint, and the other two are not. But the idea here is just to get some color down. And just press that in and kind of let that dry a little bit. Okay, just some color. Again, I'm not worried about all these imperfections. So what we're going to do with this next layer is work in some warm colors. I haven't done much with green for this session, so I think I'll mix up these two to make a green. And then you take your baby powder and you just sprinkle it randomly. Make a mess, of course. And place your jelly print back down. I'm going to use my tissue paper again. Just press it in really well. All right, we're gonna see if this worked. Cool. Okay, so then there's powder, of course. Not sure how she gets the powder off. That I didn't see. But what I'm gonna do is use a microfiber cloth and just make sure it's dry first. I'm actually going to take this over my trash can, and I'm just going to brush all this powder into the trash. Okay, then she put more paint. I'm using quinacridone magenta, phthalo blue, and turquoise. And she just kind of blends that all over her gel plate. Now she had another piece of paper that had color on it, and I don't. So what I'm gonna do is place my stencil down and just pull a piece of paper. This is again cardstock. Then we can press it. Debating if I want to. It's such a tough decision. I think I want to remove it, the stencil, and just press it right over it. Just to pick up the rest. I'm adding just a little bit of stenciling with my white gel pen. This is a number 10. I probably won't do the whole thing, but I wanted to do some of these kind of big looking waves. Done with that, I can pull my print. Okay, I got some decorating of this done. I'm going to stop there so I can move on to this print here. All right, this is what was left of the baby powder on the gel plate. It smells like baby powder too, so it definitely makes your print scented. It doesn't rub off, and that removes that baby powder from your gel plate. So here are the finished prints. This is again the baby powder one. I think it looks so cool, like that splash behind these waves. This is the coral reef with the gold. That one just looks like it pops right off the page. I love it. And of course this one, which is much better with that definition. Still has a lot of that silver and just a little bit of those pops of warm colors behind. This is the Nautilus, all the snail shells, and of course I love the bright colors and then the blue in the front and those bubbles. I think the bubbles turned out the best on this print. I also have that gold that you can see. Turned out really cool. And then this one is the first baby powder one. I think the top part turned out a little bit better. And I added this just stenciling with a white gel pen, and then I went in with a chalk marker for some of those bigger areas because the gel pen was kind of struggling to fill in. The gel pen just did the outline, but I think that turned out really nice. I love them. Okay, it's selection time. My favorite. I actually think this one is my favorite. I just love how this one turned out. It looks so cool. So yeah, that's my print session for today. I hope you had fun following along. Let me know what you're working on, and if you have worked with bubbles before, and if you have any tips or tricks for me, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed the content today, and check out my membership program if you're interested in that. And I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, happy crafting, y'all.